it's time to start putting on the James Hardie Fiber Cement siding, which I'm super excited to do. This will be my first time installing this stuff as well, so it'll be a learning experience for everyone. But got the laser out here, so I'm gonna start marking up the walls so that way we can get that first strip on nice and straight, and then that'll help us for the rest of the way up, and we'll get our trim pieces. I just got 1x4 for right now. I might get the actual James Hardie Fiber Cement trim pieces. I don't know yet. We'll see how this wood looks next to it, and might stain it to get the right color and whatnot. But either way, we're gonna get that on and then start running some fiber cement siding. All right, so here you can see my brother and I are starting to mark up the wall. So I got the laser going, and I'm going and marking the same spot all the way across. My brother's following behind me with the level, connecting my lines all the way down, and having another indicator saying, yep, this is actually level spot to spot, using the level and the laser, just to make sure it's actually going straight across. And then I'm starting to mark off the studs as well right after that. And that way, when we're going to put our nails in, we know for a fact we're driving our fiber cement board into the wall, into studs, because you need that extra support to be able to make sure that you're holding up the fiber siding correctly. All right, so we're figuring it out. As you just saw, they left right while we were figuring it out, of course. But it's holiday weekend, so got a lot of stuff going on. I'm only gonna be here a little bit longer anyways, but as you can see, we got it. It's going, it's looking pretty nice. So we have a small strip right underneath, so that way it pops out on the bottom. And like it does, as you keep going up, they overlap each other, so it looks nice, has the same look. We found that doing an 1.5-inch strip underneath worked much better than doing just an inch, from keeping it to like split. So like we actually have one spot right here, as you can see it cracked a little bit, so I'm probably gonna have to end up getting another screw there, but it should be all right. But outside of that, that was like the big thing I noticed. And then also down here on this first row too, once we put on the second row, you can see the nails. So unfortunately, that one, our measurements were just a little bit off for that first strip. But after that, we're looking good and we're hiding all of our screws. And underneath here, I made sure, that's why we have some weird spacing going on here, is to make sure that we could have one full piece go completely under this window, so that way we don't have to have any showing nails underneath that. So coming along, and I'm gonna keep going up here, and I'm gonna try and finish up this little section by myself, because I don't have any hangers. They do make them, I don't have any, so it is what it is. But I'm gonna get over here as well. I'm gonna get on that trim piece for the end, and then I'll go up basically up to the door, top of the door, and that'll be as far as I'm gonna be able to get, because once I start getting on those longer runs by myself without those special hangers, I'm just not gonna be able to do it by myself. So another thing I forgot to mention real quick, so this is aluminum flashing, but it's a stick. It's really nice, actually. Cuts so thin, it cuts nice, and just right on each edge and each seam, we're putting that, so that way, in case any water that does get behind those seams, it's gonna hit that foil and run down and still get on top of the board underneath, so that way all your water's staying out in front of your siding instead of getting back. And granted, we got the zip behind it, so it should be all right anyways. But the more layered protection against water you have, the better, because eventually they will fail, and the more backups you got, the longer it'll last. So that's something that we're doing here. Well, so far so good. It's going up pretty easy, but it's not as flimsy as a lot of people were saying. So it's definitely a lot flimsier because of its weight and how thin it is. So it is definitely better to hold it on edge when you're working with fiber cement siding, which on the longer pieces is more important. These shorter ones right here, so these are like 105, they're not that bad. I mean, you can kind of throw them around every which way and it's all right. But once you're working at like the 144, I mean, it really starts to get a lot of weight bends a lot, I mean, you are at risk of cracking. But outside of that, really easy. I mean, make those quick adjustments on your nailer. Make sure you're not going too deep or too shallow, and you really start slapping this stuff up pretty quick, as long as you take your time to prep and make sure you got straight lines. That was another thing, straight lines. And for all my studs, I marked all those. I marked my straight lines across so I can just toss it up and then boom, 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 go down. That was definitely key for trying to make this go smoother. It doesn't really go faster per se, but it will, as you can tell, makes the end product look much nicer. You got clean straight lines going all the way across, so not bad. It's starting to get dark out here. I only got about another hour left of sunlight, so I'm gonna start packing up and getting ready to leave. But hopefully I'll be out here maybe tomorrow. I'm gonna go out. Whether or not I'm out here tomorrow kind of depends. I gotta go get the those little hangers. They got these hangers for fiber cement that you can basically put on the lower one, so that way it'll hold it out at the end, so that way I can do longer stretches. If I can't find any of those at like a Lowe's or Home Depot, then I'll be out here probably Tuesday or Wednesday. But play that by ear. Either way, I'll hopefully try and get something posted before Christmas here. If not, we'll have something immediately after Christmas. So either way, I'll maybe see you tomorrow. All right, so I didn't get out there this week, but I'm working here on the computer. As you can see here, this is the gecko hangers that I was talking about that I'm gonna be using. So I'm gonna use those just to be able to get those longer boards all the way up, keep my nice level all the way across. So that's gonna make it possible for me to do this by myself later this week when I get back out there, which will make it a lot nicer. But sorry I didn't get any more done this week, but next weekend I'll be back out there, and Merry Christmas.